Yo, Spirit's been working with me to figure out. Um, OGs, y'all know when I went through that phase where I was arguing with everybody. I was arguing with Adoy, Bailey at the time. I was arguing with my husband. I was arguing with people I met on the internet. I was arguing with everybody. Who knows why I was arguing? And then I went through a phase where I was like, I know how not to argue. Just agree with everything. And now we understand that's the infancy of having multiple perspectives. Now we know we don't agree with everything, we just see everyone's perspective. So we're seeing the unraveling of that which we see in front of us today. And a revelation that came to me now in relation to misunderstanding and arguing, because I'm talking to my client where we discussed if her daughter is a picky eater. A potential solve to that would be to invite your daughter into the meal planning. Your daughter's not necessarily a picky eater. She just doesn't want to eat what you cook or how you prepare it. So now the fix is to go with your daughter into the meal preparation and the meal planning so that she feels like she's a part of it. She's not being forced to eat something that she's not a part of. You're giving her back her autonomy. And also she could say, hey, I like this, I don't like that. So that is what she is implementing in her home. And she said if her fiance, who is also someone she was working with, we can't do too much with the fiance right now because he's a whole person. So we are working on her individually to get her to where she can either communicate what I communicate to her effectively, or they both sit down in front of me and then we could work simultaneously. Anyway, so she was like, well, if my fiance's there, we'll invite him in. And I was like, and do it playfully. And what I told her was the way that I did it so aggressively and informatively, which means I'm transferring knowledge while conducting the stuff that I'm doing. Well, I potentially have to, if God makes no mistakes and I'm moving in my divinity, I have to do the things the way that I do them so that everybody is aware of what's happening, but also I'm still able to test the environment. Doesn't matter why I do what I do, but I do what I do. But you don't do it like I do it, because I'm very abrasive. I'm very abrupt with it. I'm still figuring this femininity thing out. I'm still figuring out how to be vulnerable. I'm still in teacher mode. I teach. When I teach, I am speaking directly. And so I have to figure out how to oscillate between the energy. So don't move like I move. And so what I told her was, invite him into the cooking space playfully. Say, hey, babe, we all want to cook together. Will you join us? And allow him to join at the capacity that he chooses to join. This is the introduction of a new idea or a new system within the home. So we don't want to necessarily dictate how it happens. Just be happy that it's being allowed to happen and observe what is happening. Don't tell him you're observing what's happening. I'm letting you know you're observing what's happening. And as you're observing, you're just taking note, not so that you can come at him later, but so that you do not bring it up in the moment and mess with the energy and the vibe, because you're now creating a vibe. You're creating a space that I know when we come together into the kitchen, this is a place that this particular energy can manifest. And you don't want to fuck that up by bringing up ways that he could be more present, the way that you want him to be present. We understand he's not being present, or maybe he's being present at the way that he knows to be present, but we know there is a more effective way to be present, based off of our understanding, and our understanding matters while we were building this family. So if his goal is, and this is what my husband told me and another husband told me, he said, men are simple. A woman's happiness is their only goal. And I know that's crazy because a lot of you guys are in relationships where the man could care less about your happiness. But my husband has affirmed for me, and other men have echoed, that the woman's happiness is the only objective. Now, in the woman's happiness being the only objective, he must stand on something and not allow that woman to run him. But the woman also has to know when she has aligned with the right man, her happiness is his objective, which means his happiness must be her objective. Not, ooh, I got someone I could run all over, and now I'm going to make this man miserable because it's my way, period. No, he has to have movability and matter within that relationship. It is a true 50-50 relationship, which is what I'm running into right now, resetting my ship, putting my husband as head of household. But in that, he has to figure out how to become head of household based on the example that he did not pay attention to of all the years that I carried this household. I'm about to take back over household management because I'm about to go back into the classroom, but I'm not fixing things for him. I will demonstrate for him and he can follow suit, but I am not doing anything for him. I am reading my journals from 2022 and I'm just like, Dre is the best thing since ice cream. And I'm like, am I disillusioned? Or was he really the best thing since ice cream? And I'm thinking, based on my perception, he was the best thing since ice cream, but I also was disillusioned because I was carrying him. And because he allowed himself to be carried, he was perfect. He didn't give me no kickback. I was able to do whatever I wanted to do. That's my ideal situation. And because his desire is for my happiness, he is willing to negate his own happiness for my happiness, which is not the way that things should be. My happiness should be priority. I am the queen. This is my queendom. I run this. And in a healthy, balanced home, the queen runs it. The problem is, and the reason why we have so many queen ran only homes, is because that queen does not know how to honor her king. Now, many of these kings are not honor worthy, so I get it. But we have to undo the entire structure. I don't know. I know how I ended up on the Willie Lynch letter and how to break a slave, or what is it called? How to create a slave? I don't want to say it wrong. How to make a slave? Hold on. Anyway, I can't find it, but that's some heavy reading. And you got to be in the headspace of deciphering and figuring out what's going on there, because that which we are trapped in clearly is explained in these documents. Like, read the documents, reverse engineer them, and get yourself out of the mind fuck. It's real simple. I help you. Get into the content, get into the book, get into the coaching services. If you're local in Arizona, get into the sister circles. This is what we're doing. But what was my original point so I could draw? Nice little bow. Oh yeah, so they're gonna cook. I said playfully invite him in, allow him to present however he chooses to present. Take note, but don't say anything until the energy is not on you. Because the energy is not on him, he's fine. The energy potentially is on you because he's moving your way, but not your way. He's moving your way, but not how you want him to move. Anyway, so wait a couple days, write it down, and write with detail because he's going to forget. You want to be able to remind him. You also maybe want to have 2 or 3 examples of the times. And you're like, you're throwing things in my face. No, I'm not. These are just examples. And you can give a disclaimer up top. I like to write down instructions. Like, everything is written down in my house now. We are creating a whole new process of everything. We are coming up with new direct definitions of everything. We are redefining everything. We are documenting everything. Every conversation of substance is being documented because we are overcoming that which we continuously get tripped up by. And that's what this Willie Lynch bullshit was. They set a trap so thorough that we continue to get trapped up with it until we stop and pay attention enough to ourselves to pay attention that we've been here so many times before and we continue to allow it to break us. It's crazy, man.